Welcome to Mindfully with Tumishe, the podcast that invites you to explore mental health with honesty, compassion, and openness. Each week, your host, Tumishe Oladapokuku, shares personal stories and stories from people like you. Together, we'll confront mental health myths and build a space where imperfection isn't feared but embraced. From self-esteem struggles to relational conflicts, we're here to discuss it all, with guidance from experts and real raw stories that inspire healing. It's time to live mindfully. It's time to be compassionate with ourselves and each other. Mindfully with Tumishe, new episodes every week, available wherever you listen to podcasts or at blackimages.com.
Hello, mindful partners. I hope you are settling gently into the new year. I know it's the second month, but I hope you're settling gently into the new year. Today, we are continuing in our exploration of a concept I'm still sitting with. The one I introduced in the last episode. If you listened, you remember that I didn't return with answers. I have returned with language. And I want to stay right there because the question I've been pondering isn't really about my experience or experiences. It's about what's happening to us. I alluded to my friend's comment on one of my posts that has informed in large part the concept I'm trying to explore. Listen to her diagnosis. I can't even begin to comprehend the strength it takes to share your story like this. I respect and applaud you. The fact that you have even taken it a notch higher to help those who may be on the same journey that you're traversing is a higher calling. I cannot wait to see where it leads. Because none can help others to navigate the journey but the one who has walked and is still walking this path. You know that saying about God and the soldiers and the heaviest battles? I think about you when I think of that saying. On the other hand, I wish also that people would just be kind. Some Christians and some motivational speakers push people to the edge unintentionally, yet effectively with toxic positivity. Our society is already sold on the hustle mentality and what I call societal narcissism, for want of a better expression. We push people on every side and in every way, and all of us do not know where to stop and how to draw the lines. I pray fervently that someone is guiding and guarding the Gen Z folks who are under the mentorship of these motivational legends who basically just seek to be worshipped. I have seen many of them drive themselves to ill health way too early and are still being told it's a price to be paid for success. That was what she wrote back in 2022. We live in a very loud world. Loud with opinions, loud with certainty, loud with advice, loud with healing. Everyone is speaking. Fewer people are listening. And as the world gets louder, I've noticed something unsettling. The body gets quieter until one day it doesn't whisper anymore. It interrupts. Let's take a moment to take a sip of water. Yeah. So, how does the body interrupt? Surgery, stillness, forced rest. Not because the body is dramatic, but because it is faithful. In that stillness, I began to notice something beyond my own recovery, something cultural, something subtle. And in the last episode, I named a concept that is still forming for me: societal narcissism. A term, as I mentioned earlier, was coined by my friend Yemisi, but began to crystallize for me in the days of my body being filthily dramatic in her shutdown. Again, narcissism here is not a diagnosis, but is a collective posture, a way of relating that quietly centers the self, even in the spaces meant for healing. Let's be honest. The word narcissism is everywhere now. Online, in recovery spaces, in faith spaces, in wellness language. Everybody seems to be diagnosing somebody. Gone are the days when only psychiatrists and psychologists use the word narcissism. And frankly, I'm not mad about that. Trust me, I am not. I am glad we now have language for experiences that were once unnamed. I'm glad abuse, subtle or loud, is recognized more quickly and called out. But here's my pause. Having language is not the same thing as having wisdom. And the naming of something doesn't automatically teach us how to navigate it. Narcissism exists only on a spectrum. Narcissism can describe a trait, it can describe a disorder. And my personal opinion in conclusion, it can also describe something innate in the human search for self. Let me take you back in history. Don't worry, I'm not going to bore you, but just a short prelude or a short sneak peek into how we got the word narcissism. The ancient story of Narcissus, from where we got the term, wasn't written as pathology. It was written as a warning. And the writer of the poem, an epic poem, Ovid, tells the tale of Narcissus, a character that was so handsome and shunned all kinds of attention. And then he, because of this character trait, caught the attention of Nemesis, the goddess of revenge, who in turn proclaimed that Narcissus will never be able to be loved by the one he falls in love with. On a fateful day, our dear Narcissus is thirsty and wanders to a pool that no other living being had dared approach up until that time. He seals himself. He falls in love with his reflection, then realizes that the love he had for himself could not be reciprocated. Nemesis won. In this story, we find that the tragedy wasn't self-awareness. It was self-absorption without reciprocity. And I think that's where we are now. Somewhere along the way, the culture of healing shifted quietly from personal growth to public performance, from inner work to social commentary, from shared wisdom to subtle policing of how people should heal, rest, speak, and respond. We don't just want to heal anymore. We want to be seen healing. And I want to be careful here because books like Healing is the New High, which I love, didn't appear in a vacuum. Healing is the New High was written or is written by Vex King, and it will be so good for you if you pick up that book. Really good, really good. That book, like I said, did not emerge from a vacuum. It emerged because people were tired of hurting, desperate for relief in a world that keeps demanding more. Healing has become the new aspiration, the new currency, the new hope that makes sense. But here is the tension I'm trying to sit with here. When healing becomes the new high, what happens when the high wears off? What happens when healing becomes identity? Self-awareness becomes superiority, and growth becomes proof. 5 months of forced stillness taught me something the wellness world rarely admits. Healing isn't content. While I was recovering, I watched the world get louder, wellness get louder, faith get louder, technology get louder. Everyone claiming to help while demanding to be heard. I returned to myself in whispers, and what I found was unsettling. We've made even mindfulness performative. When I speak about societal narcissism, I'm not condemning us, I'm observing us. I'm asking that what happens when resilience becomes a weapon, silence becomes oppression, and wisdom demands self erasure instead of self responsibility. A Botswanan adage says when the hen gets drunk, it forgets the hook exists. Interesting picture, but I love it. Perhaps this is a part of our moment. So much noise, so much performance, so much distraction that we forget the dangers of disconnection. We are deeply relational beings, yet increasingly isolated. Look at any comment section on socials under any, even the most awesome post, and you'll see how easily courage is punished. Sometimes I'm going through and I'm really like a person who is trolling, as I say, and I'm like, I want to give this person a hug so badly. We may not always face the same direction. As Yoruba people say, we can't sleep, everybody can sleep and face the same direction, but we must face something. The objective of this series is not about criticism. It is about return. A return to the body, a return to presence, and a return to meaning. Before we go any further, let's pause for a moment. Not to fix anything, not to analyze, not to optimize, just to notice. And if it feels safe, bring your attention to your body. Where are you holding tension right now? Your jaw, your shoulders, your chest. You don't need to change it, just acknowledge it. Because the body doesn't ask for solutions first, it asks to be heard. And if all you can offer yourself right now is awareness, that is not failure. That is relationship. As I tried to round off this thoughts today, I want to be clear about something. This conversation is not asking us to speak less. It is asking us to listen better to ourselves first. Because when healing becomes hierarchy, when awareness becomes authority, and when empathy starts to control rather than accompany, something essential is lost. In the next episode, as we continue in the series of societal narcissism, trying to explore the meaning, I want us to sit with that tension. What happens when empathy becomes emotional supervision? When helping turns into holding power? And when good intentions quietly erases consent. In the next episode, we'll try to explore that terrain gently, honestly, and without accusation. For now, let's stay here with the body, with presence, and with meaning. What have I tried to say through this episode? Societal narcissism emerges when the work meant to free us quietly becomes a way to control one another. It is what happens when personal healing is mistaken for moral authority over other people's becoming. As I close up this episode, I do not want to leave you without conclusions. I want to leave you with companionship in form of questions you don't have to answer right now. Just let the questions sit with you. And like I said in the last episode, allow the answer to arrive at their own time. Where in my life am I responding? And where am I reacting? Where have I mistaken insight for authority or empathy for control? What would it look like to let myself be unfinished without calling it failure? Take one slow breath through your nose and release it gently through your mouth. No correction, no achievement, just arrival. Thank you for sitting with me today. The next episode, 98. Of course, I'm counting down to the 100th episode. Episode 98 will continue this conversation, gently exploring what happens when empathy turns into supervision and healing quietly becomes hierarchy. Until then, do not rush. Stay mindful. Stay human. Stay becoming. If anything in this episode stayed with you and you'd like to sit with it a little longer, there is a WhatsApp group, Mindfully with Tumishe. It is a space not for fixing, not for diagnosing or giving advice. It is a space for reflection, listening, and shared humanity. You're welcome to join if and only if it feels supportive to your process. The link is in the episode notes. However, whether you join the conversation or keep it private, remember this: your healing does not need an audience. Thank you for listening. Love yourself, love your neighbor, love your country. Above all of these, love God. He is the essence of your being. I am Oluwatumishi Oladapo Kuku.
This is Mindfully with Tumishe, brought to you by Black Images.